Well, round one has completed for the 2023 AFL season. The only problem is, Shay, where the hell are you? Don't worry, guys. Shay will be here. She's just got a few things to do with her absence. She'll be here beside me as we go through all the things, good, bad, and the ugly, that happened over round one. And we're going to talk about round two in the injuries. And also, how did Ness and Jamie go in round one due to the footy tips? That and a lot more. Stick around, give us a thumbs, smash that like button. Let's get this show on the road. Well, round one has been completed, and what a week of football, so.
Yeah, it is. And just before we get started, I am here, as Jamie said, I am here. We're just not showing me. As he said, I've had an abscess that's blown up on the side of my face, and it's not something you guys need to see.
Yeah, for all those jokes, no, I didn't hit Shay in the mouth. Yeah.
I had a sneezing fit and accidentally bit down a little bit too hard. I don't know how I did it, but it's come up, and yeah.
Chewing on meat.
No, sneezing fit.
Oh, whatever. But anyway, what a week in football. We had a draw to start the round off. Yeah, we had a massive draw. First draw of the first game of the season back since 2011.
Yeah.
2011 was the first.
So round one, 2011 was a draw, and round one, game one, 2023 was a draw.
Yeah, Richmond and Carlton had scored 58 points, but
can I have the?
Oh, you want to do Ness?
We're not doing Ness's tips, but we're doing the results from the tips. So we'll do that to start with. So, just to remind you, Ness went for Richmond, Collingwood, North Melbourne, Brisbane, Bulldogs, Sydney, Adelaide, Hawthorn and Freo. Now, as you can see, Richmond and Carlton, that was a draw. So she gets half a point for that.
We get a half a point for a draw, yep.
And, before I continue, Jamie went for Carlton, Collingwood, West Coast, Brisbane, Melbourne, Sydney, Adelaide, Essendon and Freo. So Jamie also gets half a point.
Yep.
Next we've got Collingwood and Geelong.
Good old Collingwood forever. But that was a game where had two serious injuries. One for Collingwood and the other one for Geelong. Tom Stewart for Geelong had an MCL. He strained his knee. Apparently he's only going to be out for about 4 weeks. Nothing too serious, but lucky it wasn't an ACL. But Jeremy Howe from Collingwood, where do we start with that injury?
Yeah, not nice. He's ended up with compound fractures.
Multiple.
So he's ended up with a compound fracture plus multiple other fractures within his left arm.
Yeah.
He went up and
tried to intercept a mark, but he misjudged it. And the photo that I saw, while he was in the air, he was vertical. Not horizontal, vertical. He was like another 3 to 4 stories higher than the opposition player.
Yes.
What goes up must come down, and unfortunately he would try to brace himself from impact from falling. He put his arm out, and that did not look too good.
And he ended up being taken off by the stretcher, which takes time, but he's now had surgery, and he is on the road to recovery, and they're saying, 8 to 12 weeks?
Yep, between 8 to
10. So, but could quite possibly come back in about 10 weeks. But we never like to see an injury. No. Ever.
And I did get a comment, thanks to the Geelong fan that commented on my last Friday little short video. If you haven't seen the short, please check out the shorts on this YouTube channel. Last Friday I did a little short just to finalise the side because the teams were getting dropped and I had to make some changes. But thanks to the Geelong player, congratulated for the Collingwood win. But the one thing that we don't like seeing is injuries. Unfortunately, it is the nature of the beast. You are going to see an injury here or there. But when there's multiple injuries in a game, it impacts that side because the following week they've got to replace that player. And unfortunately,
now
we'll go into the injury list.
We will get into the injury list, but before we do, and before we finish this off, you've brought up something interesting. So, Adelaide Oval, the MCG, Marvel, and Optus Stadium
in Perth,
which is in Perth, have all had their playing surface redone. Now, Optus Stadium, MCG, and Adelaide Oval were all because of the Ed Sheeran tour that was here just before the season started. Now, they knew everybody within the organisations that help run those stadiums, ovals, whatever you want to call it, they all knew that there was a strong possibility that this would happen. And they knew it because they'd been seeing it happen around the world. Yeah. So, the fact that they managed to get, minus Perth, they did manage to get them all up and running and looking brilliant. But the question has to be asked, would we have seen the kind of injuries that we did see? Because there are injuries that have happened at the MCG.
Well, Marvel had another concert.
Yeah, Marvel had
Harry Styles from One Direction. But the MCG, they had multiple concerts on that oval over the summer. Billy Joel played there in the summer. Yep. Ed Sheeran, of course, and I think there was one other. Oh, Guns N' Roses. They played the MCG over the summer.
They did here too.
Yep.
In the what we call the off season.
Yeah. In the off season, yeah.
Now.
And next year you got Pink playing at Adelaide Oval. You got.
And there's going to be multiple. Oh man.
Yeah. Next year they got Pink tour. So who knows what's going to. But every summer there's always a gig at an oval, and unfortunately afterwards.
The nature of it is they're going to have to relay the surface. But the question then becomes, is it worth it if they're seeing the kind of injuries that they're seeing? So could the Geelong player...
Should the federal government start building more arenas? I say yes, but where the money coming from? It's coming from the taxpayers, and unfortunately...
But is that going to work? I mean, I get it. The MCG, it is big, it is open... And they can use it. It is multi-purpose.
I think it's quantity over quality. They want as many people to go to a concert, right? Even though the quality of the concert may not be that great, especially at Marvel. If you got that roof shut or even open, the sound bounces off the wall.
Yeah, okay. So for those that don't know, Marvel Stadium is the only stadium that the AFL use that actually has a roof on it, which means that they can open it, and they do have it open, but they can also close it too. And generally speaking, during the footy season, it's closed. But I mean, the question could then be asked: well, what about cricket? How much does that damage the playing field?
Because here in Australia, we use in the summer of cricket, we use what we call drop-in pitches, where you can rip up a square, the centre square, and drop in your cricket pitches, and at the end of the season you pick them up and you relay the grass over and Bob's your uncle, it's back to normal. But when you have concerts playing on top, especially at Marvel Stadium has always been known as a sandpit. The grass has not matured enough over the years. I've seen the turf being turfed up in game 1, game 2, game 5, 100 games. The ground still gets turfed up on the surface is like a sandpit. Now, if you go to Optus Stadium over in Perth, many people were getting sore ankles because that ground was like a cement. And especially Buddy a couple of years ago he spent about 4 or 6 weeks out because his ankles were sore after playing over in Perth. The one at Perth is like a concrete. The problem is they never let the grass mature enough, and when you put things over the top of each other, it just makes it more hard. But
so Optus Stadium, and it is Optus Stadium that's the one that's got the worst draw, and that is because WA can go for months with very little rain.
Yeah, well, especially now, according to my mother.
Yeah, and this is coming
and
from the fact that his mum.
And then on the flip side, they'll have downpour after downpour for 6 to 9 months, and it's like a mud bath. But you get your good and your bad.
You do, and I mean you get that anywhere. I just think that Optus Stadium kind of does have a little bit worse. Because when it dries out over there, it dries out, and the ground does become like cement.
If you want to see the cricket, you see how high that ball bounces on the cricket pitch. It's like you're bowling the ball on a concrete. But anyway, let's go into the.
Hang on, let's get back to we have to finish. We haven't finished yet.
Not yet. We want to go through the injury list.
We haven't finished the tips
Okay,
yet.
so all right, let's go to Ness. So Ness got 3.5 points out of 9.
Yep. So just quickly run through them. So she chose North Melbourne, who beat West Coast. Jamie picked West Coast. I don't know why, but you did. Then Port Adelaide beat the Brisbane Lions. Ness went the Lions, which in my opinion was a good call. But then again, I really don't like Port.
Brisbane Lions seem so slow. They're like they never got out of first gear and that. But anyway.
Then Melbourne beat Western Bulldogs.
Yep. They played in the grand final 2 years ago.
And that's now become sort of a rivalry game every time they play. Sydney beat Gold Coast Suns.
And Buddy got reported and suspended for high contact for lifting the elbow. He got a week. He's got a little bit of a holiday.
Then GWS actually beat Adelaide Crows, and a lot of people didn't see that one coming. They thought that one was going to go the other way.
They came from behind GWS. I remember watching this game. Adelaide was in front, and then McAdam from the Crows, he did a bump and he got a 3-week suspension. Now Adelaide Crows are appealing this. Now we go back to the Melbourne game. Pickett bumped Bailey Smith. Bailey Smith still played on. He didn't come off and he still played for the rest of the game. But Pickett incident, compared that with McAdam, Pickett looked like a freaking missile launching off the ground to Bailey Smith.
And
he
yet
only gets 2 weeks.
Did he get 2 weeks?
He got 2 weeks.
Okay, he got 2 weeks for pretty much an identical bump.
Yeah, it's a bump, but the only difference was he launched at him. Pickett launched at Bailey Smith like a missile.
But I think the only difference is the fact that Smith actually played on.
The other guy did too.
Okay, well then I don't know why they've gone the way they've gone.
The reason why McAdam got 3 weeks is because the tribunal went straight to the trial. They deemed it as a severe high impact. Now, if it's severe, the guy still played on. He didn't finish. He didn't come off. He didn't have a concussion. He still played on. Both Bailey Smith and the GWS guy both played for the rest of the game. No incident. But one got 2 weeks, the other one got 3 weeks, and it was an almost identical situation. Yeah. But anyway, let's go to the injury list. If we can,
that's
please.
What I'm.
And then we go into our fantasy teams.
I do apologise. I'm trying to find. Here we are.
Injury latest. Round 2. The full AFL injury list.
Hang on, I'm just bringing this up so that I can...
You want to take the reins on this one, Shay?
Okay, so Adelaide, Matt Crouch, Billy Dowling, and Josh Worrell are all out. And all 3 of them are out for at least 2 weeks. Now, when it comes to fantasy, 2 weeks or more, you want to trade them out.
If you haven't, but
If you've got them, but I don't think a lot of people do. So, Carl Achi is going to be tested. So, when they're sitting there saying test, what they're doing is, what it is they, at some point during training within the week, and it's usually the Wednesday or Thursday, so depending on where they're playing.
The captain's from.
Hang on. Yeah, but it depends on when they're playing. So, if they're playing Friday night, then generally speaking, the captain's test will be...
Captain's run.
Or captain's run will be held on what, the
day before.
Thursday?
Yeah. And
okay.
Like the Saturday will be the Friday. And
yeah, so forth and so forth. Now...
Hayden Coleman had a concussion in that game on the weekend against Melbourne.
So so when this article was put together, it was to be confirmed. Now there is a rule around concussion.
12 days.
Yes.
12 days. They have a 12-day break.
If it is deemed that you do have a concussion, you cannot play for 12 days. Darcy Gardner.
Which is normally a week, so it's 7 days and whatever else you have in between, but it's normally a week, like 12. By the time they come back,
it's just over 12 days.
Yeah.
Now
Darcy Gardner's out for an ankle. He's got another 1 to 2 weeks. And
Zorko
did not play against Port. He had a hamstring strain. He's going to have a medical physical test this week.
I do believe they've actually turned around and said that he is now playing.
Zorko's playing this week?
I believe... Yeah, Zorko is available after getting through Tuesday's main session.
Okay. But he's still got to go through a training session.
He's now back doing normal. Okay, so Carlton, I didn't realise that. Yeah. So Carlton have got 2 players that are out for the rest of the season. One with a knee. Now that may not be an ACL, but
it was an ACL.
Okay.
Getting in the pre-season training.
All right, so he hasn't played at all. Phillip, he's done something to his foot. Broke his foot?
I don't know, something to do with his foot.
Probably something along the lines of what Dane Swan did when he was rubbed out for good.
Don't go there.
But we won't go there properly because that's a sore one.
So Jordan Boyd's got a to be confirmed. Matt Cottrell got to be confirmed. David Cunningham's got a shoulder to be confirmed. Corey Durden, hamstring, he's got a physical test. Now he could be up for selection this week. Mark Bank got a calf, as you mentioned. Philip got a season for a foot. Sam Walsh, he'll be out for an extended period of time due to his back, and Zach Williams is out for the year.
Yes. Now you gonna let me do this?
Go up. Something about Hewitt. Hewitt has been cleared of significant damage following a hand injury that was sustained last Thursday against Richmond. He should be played.
Can I finish these off, please? Because you keep cutting in on me. Alright, Charlie Dean is out for the season. I don't think he played at all.
No. He's a rookie anyway.
Yeah. Harvey Harrison is out with hamstring for a week. Jeremy Howe, which we mentioned before, is to be confirmed, but they're looking at least 8 to 10 weeks. Nathan Kruger's out for 6 to 8 weeks for the shoulder.
Reconstruction.
Yeah, Lipinski is out until at least the mid-season bye.
Yeah, Lipinski did his shoulder against Hawthorn in the pre-season 2 weeks ago.
That's right. And Finn McRae is out for a week with his back.
Yeah. And they are thinking of bringing in Billy Frampton to replace Jeremy Howe.
Yes.
He got traded in this year.
Taylor Adams pulled up a little sore, which it happens a lot, but they're expecting that he'll...
put him in the ice bath, he'll be fine.
Alright. So, McBride and McDonald, whatever, I'm not even going to bother, and Wiedemann are all looking at tests this week.
We're just calling Tip.
Alright, Tip is looking at tests. Cox, no relation to Mason Cox. Reed, Stewart are looking at least somewhere between 3 to 5 or 5 to 6 weeks. Stringer is available after doing hamstring.
I don't think Stringer would be available because he's had a punch up with one of his teammates during the pre-season training. There's a bit of an ego issue with Stringer. He need to pull his head in.
The rookie, Elijah, I believe he's a rookie, isn't he?
Satadas, yeah.
He's looking at 3 to 4 months. Now that's not, he hasn't done it, when I say knee, it's not the ACL, it's the other one.
MCL.
Yep. And Peter Wright is shoulder.
Or PCL.
Something like that.
And Peter Wright did his shoulder in training last week. He was on the day before the massive game between Carlton and the eve before Eppenham played Hawthorn the day before, and he'd done his shoulder, so he's out.
And he's looking to be out for at least the first half of the season. Fremantle, they're not doing too bad. Coiler is out for 5. Davis is test. Williams is 1 to 2 weeks. Geelong.
Jack Bell from...
is a test. Conway, the Conning.
Conning available. He went down with that little knee against Collingwood. He got his... he was the second player that had his knee strapped.
Slight niggle, but not too bad. So, Conway, Henry, and Kolodjanic
Yep.
are all to be confirmed. Mitch Duncan is out for 2 weeks with a calf issue. Managola, medium term, so they're not exactly sure when he'll be back. Now, he's the one that actually did do his...
Second half of the year, medium term. If it's long term, it's going to be almost like the season.
But
the medium term...
Menagola's the one that actually did his knee.
No, it was Tom Short.
Oh, okay.
Tom Short, we thought he did an ACL, but it's actually turned out to be an MCL. He got 3 to 4 weeks. He's out for a month.
So Gold Coast
Frederick
and Ellis both are to be confirmed.
I'll say they'll be back in this week. Oh, Ellis will be, but I don't know. Lemons? Powell.
So Lemons is out for a week. Powell 1 to 2 weeks.
Yeah, after 9 months, Weller could be back too. He's been cleared to play this. I'll say they'll bring him back through the BFL.
Oh, they will.
Well, there's a long injury list. Now, Whitfield got a concussion, and so did Josh Kelly. They had a concussion against Adelaide.
Aliir, Bedford, Madden, O'Halloran, Perryman, Prius, Whitfield are all looking at weeks. Darcy Jones is only looking at a week. Phil Davis, they'll test him in the next couple of days. See how he goes.
A lot of people had Josh Kelly in their side, and he's out for 1 or 2 weeks due to concussion. So
okay, I'm trying to get through this as quickly as possible now. Jacker and Lewis from Hawthorn, they're both out for extendable time, 3 to 4, somewhere between 3 to 5. Morris is 2 weeks. Morrison is available, and Chad Wingard, don't even get me started on him, is a week.
That's a big one for Wingard. Is out.
Wingard's you don't want it. I'm not going to go there. Okay, Fritsch, May, Salem, and Viney are all available for Melbourne.
So
with Woden out for 6 weeks.
If you have any rookies, which we're going to talk about it, you might want to make some changes because of job securities.
So, Archer, Mahoney, Tucker, Wardlaw are all up for testing this week. Coleman, Jones.
Xeri did his ankle. That was the one that you got a message on Saturday. He went down with the ankle injury where they were playing against West Coast at Marvel. That's him.
Okay, if you guys can see the look on my face right now, you get it. Alright, so, start this again. Coleman, McKay, and Xeri are all to be confirmed. And Braden George is out for the season with knee.
Now, I'm surprised that Goldstein didn't play last week, but Xeri was the ruckman. You got the message from a friend who went to that game, or actually watching it, on Saturday, and saying that there was a North Melbourne that went down with an ankle injury. That was him.
Okay. So, Boak and Marshall from Port Adelaide are both up for test this week, and it looks like Boak will be back. Do we want that or not?
He's going through a fitness test, but
No, considering the fact that they're playing Collingwood, do you want Boak there or not?
yeah, so we go for his other rib.
Okay. And Mackenzie is to be confirmed. Okay, Richmond. Bauer is getting tested. The rest of them are all looking at 1 to 2 weeks or multiple weeks. Then, yeah, I'm not a fan of Richmond. Matt Allison is out indefinitely.
So could have been decimated with injury in the pre-season.
Yeah, so I'm not going to try and go through all of these because it's just too many, and yeah, they haven't had a good pre-season. They haven't had a really good run at things for a while. Sydney, again, as you can see, they've got a couple that have been confirmed, but most of them are between 1 to 5 weeks. West Coast, most of them are either to be confirmed or tested, and Josh Rotham is the only one that's like 1 to 2 weeks.
Maybe Elliot Yeo this week, but I doubt it. Maybe. So.
Okay, he's on restricted duties but hasn't been ruled out. Western Bulldogs, they've got, most of them are between 1 to 5 weeks. They've got a couple that are to be confirmed, and Liam Jones is going to be tested at some point this week. And that's solely after hurting his neck. Okay, so that's that one. And sorry if that's tripping people.
So let's go to the team of the...
I will go to ours in a minute. I just need to get this up so that I've got something there when... There we go. And we can then look at that next.
Right. So let's go to the team. So, what Shay Say scored 1958, 33,000 overall. It's not a bad score. The par was 2,000. Anyone over 2,000 was a bit higher than that. I want to tell a funny story. So while I was doing all the teams, I actually made a mistake to my own personal team.
Yep.
I put Cecil off the field onto me bench. He scored over 100 points, and I replaced him with Philippo from St Kilda. He got half the points that Cecil did, and it grew my ranking up. So I put Cecil back on the field this week, and that's my own personal team. But I've got the lowest score out of the three of it, like your personal score and what Shay says. But yeah, I ended up losing my first game in the league last week. But anyway,
I will actually tell you what my rank and score was. So I was 1,931, and I got an overall rank of 40,730.
And my personal one, do you really want to know? Of course you do.
Come on.
So I've got 1885, and I'm 52,000 and something overall. All because I made a complete screw up. But anyway.
And this does happen. You think, they're not gonna.
Also, we've got the team for tomorrow night. The two rookies, Cowan and Holland, have survived this week. So, Docky, he's always there. But El Gowan and Holland, they have survived. So
at this point, they have survived. Now, so we are now at the really interesting part.
Oh, hold on. I look like I've got an injury in my side. No, I don't.
No, you don't.
What about Rory Laird? We have to talk about Rory Laird. We've got him as a captain, and he didn't get above 60, and it's just complete atrocious. He only laid 2 tackles in the whole game. 2.
I'm going to bring it up.
57 for a captain. 57.
Yep.
I mean, a rookie got higher than him.
Yeah.
A rookie.
Now, the question has to be asked. Is it the case that because because the Crows have got...
Well, I did ask a question to the traders, and a big shout out go out to the traders. I sent out a thing. Is the Rory's flown back to back? because Sloan has not played predominantly for. He was out since round 4 last year.
Yes.
Right, he's back. He played last week. Is the Sloan factor playing a major role in that midfield, in the centre circle with him and Laird? I mean, I know it's only round 1, but Laird has not scored over 100 in the last 2 games against Richmond, and they're playing Richmond this week.
So can we get him out?
If you're playing a break-even game, possibly. But it will also come back and bite people in the behind. This is the thing. My advice is to fix up your rookies, because some of these rookies do not have job security. Now, let's go through the rookies. Ginby played well for West Coast. Right? He got a good score of 92.
He got 92.
He got more than Laird. So his job security will...
So he's got job security. There is very little likelihood they will get rid of him.
But if you go on the bench, however, his teammate Chester, right, he scored 30. He's more likely to get dropped. Right?
Yep.
Yeah. It depends how they play this, right?
I think they'll definitely drop him.
Now, if you go down to Melbourne, where you had McVee on the bench there, Melbourne's got players coming back, like Bailey Fritz and, a few other players, right? 49. Now, when you're looking at rookies, 50 should be the cut-off point for a rookie. But
he did get 49, so it is close enough.
But players are coming back. Is his job security stable? No, it's not. And this is another thing people got to look at. They players, and they're big players like Viney, who plays in the midfield, and on baller. He's going to replace McVee. You get what I'm saying?
Yep.
So McVee and all these other ones.
So McVee's going?
Not just yet. I'm not doing me trade just yet. I'll do a short tomorrow on who we change. But if you go down a bit, so Davey, Filippo, Green could be one that could go. I mean, he's on the bench. But if you want to get some, you got 30.
He's gone. Right? He's got no job security. 30 is not enough. Not with players they've got coming back. But
you've got to make cash.
Yes.
Right? I mean, who are you going to get him out for? He's only 205,000. The one that people could go for is a guy named Chandler from Melbourne, who got 100. Now, is he going to get 100 every week? No. But how well is his job security? Like I said, he plays for Melbourne. The players are coming back. And Bailey Fritz, who plays for Melbourne, plays in the forward line. Is Chandler job security stable? Even though he scored well. I mean, look at what happened back in 2014-15. Tom Mitchell was playing for Sydney. He gets 100, the following week he gets dropped.
Yeah.
When Tom Mitchell was playing for Sydney.
Was this back when he was like a rookie?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah. So, one thing you do have to look at, you have to look at how well the clubs are doing.
Yeah.
If they're doing well, these players won't get shifted. Or like, if they're working well and they don't have too many more to come back in, those that come back in could be looking at a difficult time trying to get back in because the rookies are doing so well. It's like last year. Last year's rookies, they did well.
Especially Dacos. And he did well too. Thank good Dacos.
Yeah, Dacos did well.
Junior. But anyway, tomorrow, guys, I will do it short. And I'll tell you what
Okay, so just talking on Dacos, because I had fun doing this. So I was sitting there in the last quarter of the Collingwood-Geelong game and kept refreshing it because Nick Dacos and Scott Pendlebury were going back and forth on points. They were leapfrogging each other. And it was kind of entertaining to watch.
Pendlebury might be old, but gee, he's dependable. If anyone wants a smoky in the midfield, Pendlebury could be a guy to get. I mean, he laid like 8-9 tackles.
So the good thing with Pendlebury, or Pendles, is he now doesn't have the captaincy riding on his shoulders. Yes, he's still part of the leadership, but he doesn't have the duties that the captain has.
The vital moment was when Howell went down with that arm, and that was the spark that lit in that early minutes of the third quarter. Because after that, we kicked 8 goals straight.
Yes.
To whatever.
But, okay, so the point that I'm trying to make here, though, Pendlebury was starting to not look so good towards the end of last season. But I think a lot of that had to do with the amount of pressure that was on his shoulders being the captain. Now that he doesn't have that pressure...
Darcy Moore does.
Darcy Moore does, but Darcy Moore's a lot younger and a lot earlier in his career.
Darcy Moore 30.
And how old is Pendlebury?
36.
Yeah, there's 6 years difference.
They don't look like it if you put them side.
Oh, it doesn't look like it, but if Darcy Moore's only 30 and Pendlebury's 36, that's 6 more years that Pendlebury's got on him. And it can, being the captain can weigh on you.
I think it's 34, 30. Anyway, between 34 and 32.
He's about my age. That's all we need to know.
Yeah. But anyway,
yeah. We will.
What I'm going to be doing this week, I'm going to be fixing up the rookies that we didn't get last week. And there's a player I do want to get, but I don't know if I have the money to get him in. The whole point is to try to get the rookies off the ground as quick as you can. But with the way job security is, I mean, it's only round 2. Round 2 is basically to clean up the mistakes you made last week.
Using the only 2 trades that you have.
Yeah, 2 trades. So we've got $40,000 in the bank. We need to make some cash. There's a player I've been looking at who's worth around about 700,000, and I know that it comes to the one guy I'm definitely thinking about getting rid of is Mansell in that back line. He doesn't look too good. I did say he was going to get 50. Yeah, right.
He got 32.
So, I am thinking about getting rid of him because the rookies are getting more points than he is. But I need to figure out who to get him out for, because if the guy that I'm looking at getting into, right, the guy that I am looking at getting at is in the midfield. He's around about 700,000. Play for GWS.
Okay, can I just say something? So we've got a partial lockout again. Now, just because, so long as the players that you aren't looking at getting, because you're not looking at getting out Doherty, you're not looking at getting out Cowan, and you're not looking at getting out Hollands, are you?
Who?
Hollands. Oliver Hollands.
No, yeah, they're playing.
They're all playing, which means that
they can make some cash, some coin.
But it also means...
But here's Holland. Oh, the thing I want to say about Holland. He ran over 6 kilometres last week in that game against Richmond. He was the most distant player, and yet the freaking players in Carlton never gave the ball to him. How much did this guy, who was a rookie, got to run to get a ball?
Yeah.
He ran over 6 kilometres. And then Joe Rasige worked that out in miles. But anyway, he just kept running and running and running. But what reward was he getting for it? Sweet bugger all.
Alright. So, we now need to move on.
But the thing is, I am thinking about getting rid of Mansell, and the other one, I'll work it out.
And we will do a quick update.
I might actually, here's the thing, now before you do anything, to that Ewald in the midfield, it's a defender forward.
Yep.
He got a good score. Now, this is where the drill position play comes in. I can shift him back to the back line, right?
Yep.
Get Mansell out and try and squeeze in this cat to get the player that I want in the midfield. Yeah.
Yeah. But we will work it out.
Because then I can put Oliver Hollands, who's the rookie, onto the bench. So, I mean, what the name of the game is trying to get the rookies onto the bench or off the ground, off the main ground.
But before the bounce, tomorrow or later today, we will let you know exactly what we've done. All right.
You want to do the tips?
Yep.
Alright, this is Ness the Wonder Dog tips for round 2, followed by your truly.
Okay, so Carlton and Geelong.
Well, who did Ness pick?
Who are you picking? We're going you first this time.
Going Geelong.
She went Carlton. Yes, went Carlton. And we've got Brisbane Lions and Melbourne.
Brisbane at home.
She went Melbourne.
Ooh.
Saturday afternoon.
Do I have to say any more?
Yeah, both of them are going
Collingwood.
Ness apparently doesn't like Port Adelaide either. Then, Saturday afternoon, you've got Adelaide and Richmond.
I'm going Richmond.
She went Adelaide.
I don't care, but Adelaide played absolutely atrocious in that second half.
Then you've got Western Bulldogs versus St Kilda.
St Kilda won last week. I'm going St Kilda.
She went for St Kilda too. Then the last game to round out the Saturday, you got Fremantle and North Melbourne.
I'm going North Melbourne.
So did she. Yes, went North Melbourne too. Sunday, so Sydney Swans and Hawthorn.
Sydney.
She went Hawthorn.
She went Hawthorn.
Yep.
They're going to get smashed. They're paying $8 for a win.
Yep. She went Hawthorn.
Okay.
Essendon and Gold Coast.
Yeah, I go Essendon.
Yeah, she went Essendon too. West Coast and GWS.
GWS.
So did Ness. Ness does not like, for some reason, Ness doesn't like Port Adelaide. And she doesn't like West Coast either. At this point. Now that could change throughout the year.
That's because she sees a lot of games with West Coast with me. Especially the grand final in 2018. She was like me. How dare the umpire didn't miss a push in the back. But anyway, we won't go on that. We won't go there. But anyway, I'm going to do a short video tomorrow to let people know. Please pay attention and look at the short tomorrow on this war, on what Shay Say. I will basically tell you guys exactly what I've done to this day. It's only a little 60 seconds, if that, clip. So it'll be a good thing. If you haven't subscribed, please, what are you waiting for? Please subscribe. We want to personally say thank you, Shay, to all the viewers that have watched either the short or the long form videos. We've reached over 10,000 views in the under 28 days.
No, pretty much bang on 28 days.
28 days. Over 28 days, over 10,000 views of all up with the shorts and the long form. But please, if you haven't subscribed, now's the time to do it. And also, like, share, and leave a comment. We had so many comments about Collingwood last week, injuries, so forth and so forth. Let's keep this rolling, shall we? Keep it rolling. And also, all these other funny comments that we've been getting as well about weight and food and not enough cake to eat and whatnot. But anyway.
Next week's episode will be back to normal, fingers crossed.
Yeah, please pray for Shay that her absence will be cleared next week. Also, we do have a major thing next week too. We're going to a chili festival. So stick around for that. People have been seeing me trying out the hot sauces like Carolina Reaper. Just recently I tried out the hot pickle. You've got to see the short that's coming up in a couple of day or two. But
yeah.
Anyway, there's a chili festival on the April the 2nd.
Yes.
which we'll be filming. But please, like, share, subscribe if you haven't already done so. We'll catch you next time on What Shay Says.
Right, bye guys.